How's it going, everybody? Welcome to another Monday live stream. Really glad to be back with you guys. We're big, we're black, we're back. Or wearing black shirt, as I'm always doing. I don't know if you guys noticed, but this is the subject and conversation of many people around me. Why am I wearing the same black shirt? And I honestly can only say, well, because I like them. Deal with it. Okay. Coffee mug. On console, of course. Bonjour, Patrick. What's up, Rob? What's up, everybody else who's in the chat right now? Always good to have you guys around to talk about, actually, whatever you guys want to talk about today. It could be about the console. It could be about live sound. It could be about any other subject that made the news today. If you got... Oh, no, hold on, Rob. No. It's not because you rang the bell that I went live. This is not how things are working here. Actually, it's because things are not working here and I've been late. Is it something new? It happened pretty much every week. So, still sick, as you guys can guess. Well, sick. I don't know. I'm just coughing really bad. Honestly. Thinking about it, I probably had COVID for like the 4th time. Something like that. So, excuse me if I stumbled through that live today. I'm doing the best I can to be there with you guys because this is what I care about. I didn't cough for like the last hour, and I'm probably guess because I'm live that it's gonna happen a lot. So I'm gonna try to mute my microphone. Sorry, guys. Keep your mute button close by. I may miss one during this live stream. We'll see what happens with that. Yeah, many people's getting COVID, right? It's just a thing. Let's just hope that everything's gonna go well. Let's be honest and say we're not gonna talk about COVID that much, but let's just quickly touch on it and say I see a lot of people that are sick, but nobody's getting too sick so far. It's a bad cold. It's a really rough. It's like a bad cold. It's a really rough time for a couple weeks, and after that, everybody seems to be fine and recover just fine. So, cross our finger. My thoughts go to everybody who's currently fighting that right now. Don't give up, guys. It's rough, but we're gonna get through it. Okay. Okay, hey, Tom, good to have you, man. Question here from Poncho. Do you think SMMART is worth the money, and do you use it? Actually, we're talking about my smart car, or are we talking about the software? Because I believe the software is written with 2M, SMA, or SMMART. It's not, or they changed that. Maybe it's the older version. Because I remember the first time that I saw SMMART, somewhere around 2005. It was not written with SMMART, but I'm guessing we're gonna talk about the sound software here, not about my car or smart car in general. But oh, there we go. We got an option here from REW from Open Source Meter or Open Source Meter. What are they? Rob, I know about Open Source Meter. I know some people did really cool thing on the console where they have. Oh, and I do not have the view, but on the display of the console, they use OSC to communicate information from Open Sound Meter to have your SPL meter running on the display of the console, which is really cool. I really like to have SPL meter. It's a, funny thing. I mix on Tuesday. Yes, Tuesday. I mixed a show and I had a hard limit of 105. And the dB limiter was too close to the PA, let's be honest. But it's a really good reminder to have an SPL meter nearby. I'm not gonna say use it as a hard limit for yourself, do not limit yourself to mix under 100 at any circumstances, but it's a good idea to know where you're at, because as the further the night goes on when you mix shows, or afternoon if you guys are doing church and stuff like that, we're getting used to it. And doing this, like this week I've done 4 show. The fourth one, on the fourth night, you can be like really loud, and you're so used to it that it doesn't feel that loud for you. But people who are fresh, just walking into a venue, they're probably gonna get hammered with 105 dB of vocal, like, loud in their face. So just be careful. This is a good reminder to just be careful with SPL. I'm lucky enough to live in North America where we don't have much SPL limit. I know it's not the same thing for you guys in Europe. I know it's not the same thing for people in other countries or part of the world. But yeah, let's be honest and say that 105 dB, which was my limit on Thursday, what was fine. You can definitely do a rock band, which I did, under 105 dB, with maybe a peak from here and there. But yeah, man, it's enough. It's honestly enough. You can get a decent amount of low end, physical low end. It's enough. So, back to Pancho's question about SMMART. I personally don't use SMMART because I saw some people, some really like cool PA tech from Solotech and stuff like that, using it, and the result that they had, even if the machine was giving them really good, accurate information, they had to go with their ear to finish the fine-tuning, or to read the data from SMMART and analyze it and go like, okay, I have too much low end here, but in reality, it's not too much low end. So it's a good tool, but it's not a magical tool that will do the job for you. When you're tuning out PA, you still need ears. You still need to listen to what's happening there. So, yeah, maybe. Usually I just use my ear, and I will point out something too. Even if I'm doing many shows a week, even if I'm doing a lot of band in a lot of circumstances, in different kind of, and I'm offered different kind of PA and monitors to deal with, I'm not in a position where I end up with good or prestigious gear. I do not mix, in acoustic PA every day. I'm probably gonna say I mix more in, when I'm lucky, I don't know. Let's be honest, I mix more with QSC stuff. Like, this is what's around here. QSC line arrays, QSC monitors, JBL, Eon, the higher end series, but the Eon stuff. This is your day-to-day working man speaker that I have to deal with. Saturday, I had the unpleasure of mixing in an old DIY kit that was made from locally here in Montreal many years ago, from the 80s, that has been reconned with JBL stuff. Not a bad PA, but phasing everywhere. So my reality is, even if I have the tool like a SMMART on my computer, and I bring everything that you need to run that, so a microphone, cable, USB cable, a laptop, if I bring all that stuff, most of the time I don't have the time to use it. And I do not have, on the other end, the PA to really reflect what's could be done. Usually I can get away with like a 5-band or 6-band parametric EQ and get it sound as far as it will go. Even having a SMMART is not going to do much. Even taking time to do SMMART is not going to get me way further. A thing that could make me go a little further would be to use impulse response EQ, if this is something that can be achieved eventually with the wing. I don't know what's the status of that, but I asked if it was possible to have impulse response capture and use that as an EQ. I've done that with guitar speaker many times, and you could get a full-on flat frequency response from a 100-point, basically graphic EQ, if possible. Eventually, go check out impulse response and correction impulse response and matching EQ. I've done that with Logic before. I would like to have that in the wing. I don't know if it's going to happen. I made the request. I don't know if it's going to be heard or not. But if we could get it's basically like taking a snapshot of the frequency response of that speaker, invert it back, and you end up with a pretty much flat sounding speaker, because it will, impulse response will understand that, deep cut and boost, and it will take care of all that and make it basically reverse engineer that, compare it to a pink noise, and you can make a full flat speaker out of pretty much any speakers. Of course, the frequency response of the speaker will still play. It's going to still have a color, but you can make it pretty much flat. So bottom line is, I like the functionality of SMMART, but it is not practical in my day-to-day use, where I just don't have time to pink noise a room at 100 dB. Because this is what you need to do when you're doing SMMART. You need to take a speaker, make it loud, because loudness will influence the EQ curve. Take a speaker, make it loud, and make it give you a response, and it's just time consuming. I'd rather just put on a song. I usually use Back in Black from AC/DC. If it's too bright, you're really gonna notice with that one. So put Back in Black, EQ some stuff out, and that's it. Go on with my show, and I'm 98% there pretty much every time. So there you go. Cool tool when you have the time to use it. SMMART like functionality could be enough. You can do with FTT was FFT. Come on, FFT. What was that, Rob or Pancho? I'm not sure I follow here. Open source meter can display on the Scribble script using WSM. I go that there's a man. Add option to satisfy the FOH engineer need. Hint. Mac version is possible, I believe. Okay, good. I'll take that. Charlie, what's up? Good to have you back, man. This Groove Band, what's up? Thanks for all the feedback. You're welcome, man. You can hide pink noise behind music for SMMART. Oh, really? Could you use a song as a reference for SMMART? I believe it can be done, but I've never done it. I've always used pink noise. Okay. Fast Fourier transform. Okay, never heard of that. Yeah, it's not SMMART compared the two signals. Yeah, but if you don't have, my question is, and maybe somebody in the chat can confirm or deny what I'm saying here, but I believe if you want your speaker to really reflect what's going to happen with a loud signal, you need to excite it at every single frequency. Because if your song do not have a lot of 250 and the box is really emphasizing 250 hertz, you're not gonna get an accurate response doing it. hard on the lungs. All I'm gonna say. Yeah, for those of you who don't know, SMMART is basically analyzing one signal, usually a pink noise, and you send that information into the software, and then you analyze the whole signal chain with a measurement microphone. You can use pure music, but it might miss certain frequencies. If you pick up pink noise, it should excite everything. Oh, you can put pink noise 20 dB below the top of the music. Okay, I didn't know that. As long as you have a output of the console, which is probably your main out, because this is what you're sending out into the PA, so it will be your reference. So you can probably use music, put pink noise in the back, and after that compare that with the measurement microphone. Okay, I should do it. Actually, I have a measurement microphone. I have do I have the box around here? I have a MM1 from Bayer Dynamic. Really good microphone. Sounded really flat and omnidirectional last time I tried it. And I should definitely do some SMMART. But I don't know. Did we add a change of information on that on the wing where we used to be able, like on the X32? Let me bring that back. On X32, we used to have an option to overlay the RTA, the real-time analyzer, over a source. So let's say that you were sending out pink noise into your main out. Do I have a pink noise somewhere? I have a pink noise here. Do I need to unmute that to see that? I have a pink noise here. Hey, where's the RTA? Hold on. Let me just reset that EQ. Where's the RTA? Oh, it's slowly getting there. Okay. I'm not gonna bother you guys with loud pink noise, but we have the RTA, and we use on the X32 to have a page where you could have access to the RTA function and use a single channel as a reference. So you would put, let's say right now I'm on channel 11, you would put your channel 11 with pink noise in it, and from there you would be able to select your main out, which is not reflecting right now, but you would be able to select your main out and see the RTA response of the other channel there, and you could EQ that until it was quote unquote flat. So, sorry guys. So you could actually do like a SMMART from the X32. I don't think it's a feature that we have on the wing, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we still have RTA only showing up on channel. Like right now I have my main out, you can see the spectrum analyzer of my voice, so it doesn't reflect what's happening on there. On the X32, it's in meter section. No, yeah, on the meter menu, we only have meters. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. So no RTA or no SMMART like on the wing yet. Maybe in the future. This could be probably easily implemented into a firmware update if the amount of required in and out of the console is still available, because that's the thing. A lot of people ask for new stuff with the wing, but we basically out of the gate on the wing, we had option to deal with all the available in and out of the processor inside the console. So a lot of people complained that the console do not expand, but the thing is, you had the whole hardware available to you from the get-go, and it was not limited like other console were and eventually unlocked. Actually, we had one kind of unlock. We had in the routing menu, we had in the source stuff, we had the user signal. Now we have user signal plus the 24 user patch. So this is an expanded in and out IO that we had with firmware 2.0. But that's about it. And I don't think there is any other processor in and out available. Let's just see if there's a way to tell the software to use the RTA input as a variable input instead of that. But I'm no software developer. I'm no expert when it comes to this. I'm just a guy in his basement with a console that's spending a lot of his time doing shows. So if anybody is a software developer out there and have time and have the knowledge to explain that, or if anybody from Music Tribe is watching and want to incorporate some new stuff, I got some idea for you guys, like RTA. And I know I'm gonna get back to this, but I would really like to have drum triggers made out of pink noise and oscillators, but we'll see if this is happening or not. I made the request a long time ago and probably never gonna see the light of day having a plug-in to doing that inside the wing. So guys, it is now time for me to ask you to hit me up with question. I would rather have this stream to be non-stop information where we have good stuff going. So while you guys are writing that, it's time for me to ask you to make sure that you like this video. Also make sure that you are subscribed to the channel and you ring the bell. I do not have, those fancy things go across the screen when I'm doing those live stream. I just have my, my usual, hold on, let me do it. My lower third with my name on it that can play when I want to. And, oh yeah, while we're at it, here's my Instagram. Follow me on Instagram, just so you guys know what's happening with me. I'm posting any shows that I'm doing, and sometimes people ask me questions on Instagram, and it's my pleasure for me to answer them to you. Also, while I'm here thinking about it, if you guys need one-on-one lessons with the wing, with live sound, I do offer those services as private online lesson for you guys. Okay, we got an ad going, so I'm gonna speed that up. I offer one-on-one lesson over whatever platform that you like. Could be Google, could be Zoom, could be pretty much. I don't think Facebook is working anymore. It used to, but it's not. But basically, we can do Google Meet, and I can give you guys access to this brain, to this console with my 2 camera view, and I can answer your question for your setup. Actually, I'm gonna do one right after I'm done with this live stream. In the down under part of the world, I have somebody from Australia that booked a session with me around in an hour. So once we're done here, I'm refilling on coffee and I'm doing a session. So if you guys are interested in that, make sure to send me an email down below. We're gonna take a few seconds of break here for an ad. For those of you who watch in playback, you are lucky enough to just skip this part. The people that watching live have an ad. So how many people get the ad? I'm just curious to ask you guys in the chat. Are you? No, you're not. You're not seeing me because you got an ads, right? How many people got a unskippable 30 seconds ad in the middle of a live stream? How pathetic could that be for the flow of events? Yes, Patrick, you got it. Okay. No ads, no ads, no ads. It's funny because now YouTube is telling me what I'm watching my playback or my feed for online with my connection status. Oh, it skipped as fast as possible. Good. I still get some money apparently from that. So thank you very much for skipping that ad. But as soon as they show you a few seconds of it, I'm getting paid. So good thing. Good thing. Okay. Guys, hit me up with question. No ads, no ads, no ads. Okay, guys, hit me up with question. It's your time for you to shine during the show. I'm only here to answer your questions. If not, I would be giving out lessons. And actually, funny story, I'm probably gonna go later this week give out a Pro 2 lesson. And it's been a while since I've played around with those jelly bean looking console. I'm getting busy, so also, yeah, well, I'll actually point out that if you're in the Montreal area and you need some help with any kind of console, I pretty much know my way around any of them. And if you're in need of help, I'm pretty sure that I can help you guys doing what you want to achieve with console. I'm doing that all the time online, and I'm doing it all the time in person. If you have, I don't know, maybe they'll call me for an SQ, but if you got any Yamaha stuff, if you got any other stuff. What are you talking about, Rob? Talk about your streaming experience. You mean the amount of live stream that I'm doing, or what are you talking about, Rob? I'm not sure I follow. You talking about all the clients that I have where I do live stream? That's boring. It's just live streaming with camera and Blackmagic Mixer and other stuff that I do pretty much every week now, because the world has changed so much since COVID. All the events that I do, well, not all the events, but most of the events that I do are now what I call hybrid event, where we have on-person show, and for people that cannot show up, I do streaming over Teams, over Zoom, over any other platform. I'm streaming on Facebook, I'm streaming on Google. I'm tech setup for live stream. Oh man, you want to go there? Okay, we'll go there. First, I'm gonna ask, or I'm gonna answer Edwin's question, because he's got a long one, and then we're gonna read it together and see what he has to do. And after that, Rob, I'm gonna go talking about live stream. At first, I was just going to get a Behringer mic to do studio measurement. The Behringer mic are from questionable level for good reference, but they definitely going to work. So, I do live sound as well, so then I thought it would be better to get a USB measurement mic like the Mini DSP UMIC. I never heard of that one, but yeah, if it's a good microphone that is USB. But the thing is, okay, hear me out. When you're doing SMMART, you need to have the reference coming out of the console, because the console has a color. The preamp that you're gonna put your mic into has a color. And if you want to make that as transparent as possible, you would need to reference the output of the console and taking into consideration the color of the microphone preamp. Because not every mic preamp is fully flat. They have a tone. They have a difference. This is why actually the cheap sound interface one have questionable result sometimes, and this is why people pay 5, 10, 20 grand for a Neve console. Microphone preamp is where a lot of things are happening. So maybe it's gonna work using a USB measurement microphone, and you're probably gonna get fine result, but it's gonna clean up the PA from your laptop, because your reference source will be coming from your laptop. I don't know what's how you're gonna send out pink noise into the PA. If you're taking pink noise out of the console and just send that in, you probably not going to get as good as result as you think, because sometimes the console, when it sends out pink noise, and we can take a look at this. Is it this one? EQ. I'm going to give it a second to go up. You see, it's not flat. It's not fully flat. Let me try to lower the decay set to really slow. Let's go average. We're gonna let that rise up again. It's slowly rising up. It's pretty much flat, but like you see here, it's not perfect. So the thing is, if you EQ that out perfectly, sending this pink noise into a PA, make sure that it's going to be fully flat, you're probably going to get an inaccurate response in the low mid here, or actually it's more in the subwoofer range, but you're gonna get inaccurate response there. Like also around 600 here, you see that, how is that's dipping and not perfectly flat. It's gonna give you some false information. It will be really close to the truth, but it's not gonna be perfect. So I hope that answered your question. I hope you can understand the reason why it's important to have the same reference, or your pink noise to be used as a reference from the microphone capturing that signal back. Your signal chain is a DL32 M32C out to PA. I don't usually have time to run a cable out into the center of the room before a show, which is totally understandable. I get that. Sorry, guys. One iPad for the FOH, another with USB mic to quickly make adjustment before a show. If you are on an M32C, you don't need to get you need to get a measurement microphone, but you can use the internal RTA to do SMMART like stuff, because it will use the internal signal, and you will reference against the internal signal. So you probably just need a fine measurement microphone. And if you go with a Behringer one, which is not, I mean, it's gonna work, it's gonna do its job, but it will probably have a color. It will. I don't know if they give out spec for these microphone in the box. I know the more expensive microphone like the MM1 from Beyerdynamics do come with a measurement sheet. This microphone was tuned up in a anechoic chamber and was analyzed, and from that analyze, they give you a frequency response graph of the microphone, so you know the color of your mic, because no microphone is fully on dead flat. They all have a little color, a little high boost, a little like frequency here, a little notch, and over time they're gonna change. So if you're doing this, if you take a measurement microphone of any kind, try to know how it will respond. After a while, you will understand how your microphone is like not perfectly reflecting what you have happening in one section of the spectrum, meaning the whole frequency range. Just learn your microphone. Always take the same one. Always measure it the same way. And you will know that, you know, even if your microphone telling you that your low mid is a little too high, maybe that microphone is picking up too much low mid, As an example, let's say that your microphone is picking up too much 200, so you end up always having to like boost 200. But in the real world, when you listen to something, it doesn't feel right. It still feel like you have a little much 200 by 3 dB. So you need to ignore that information from the microphone and adjust to that. The better you know your whole signal chain, the better result you're gonna get. This is why I nowadays try to use always the same console and microphone, because it's cutting time for me on setup time. I know for a fact that you take a radial JDI with a passive acoustic guitar. If my starting point is setting the gain at 30, well, actually, I know that my starting point setting up the gain at 30 will be really, really close to where I want to go. So I know that I can do this. I can do the same thing with a SM58. Take a SM58, set the gain to 30. Most singers that are reasonably loud will get me there. Some singers, you have to dial it back down because they will have volume. But most of the time is a really good starting point for SM57. Gain at 30, you put a low cut anywhere between 120, 160. And after that, you got, the regular SM58 bump around 300, around 2.5, 3K. You just want to bring that down a little bit. That's a good starting point for most singer. Benny, good to have you back. Okay. Enough talking about SMMART for now. Maybe if you guys got another question about it, we can talk about it. But let's go to Rob's. What do you want to talk about, Rob? Because setting up for a live stream, I mean, usually what I do when I do a live stream event, I care mostly about sound. So my approach is having a show running like we're doing right now. I'm having a single microphone on my console. This is me tucking into a shotgun mic in front of my camera. I usually don't use shotgun mic live. I usually use handheld microphone, SM58. Really good and really good microphone for pretty much everybody. I use that. I compress it a little bit for the room. EQ it out, make sure it sounds good for the room, and after that I have a separate mastering chain that I do only for a bus that I'm using for live streaming. Usually I take a copy of my main out, so whatever I send in the room, and I send that to my live streaming. So we're gonna do it right now with one microphone. I'm gonna have my talkback mic here, which is what I'm gonna use. Compress that a little bit, like I said. Maybe it's compressing a little hard right now, but I really want my live stream to sound as loud as mastered music, so I compress my vocal really, really hard for this live stream. Usually I would probably go to something more like a couple dB of compression, 3 to 6 dB of compression. But because here, I want you guys to hear every single nuance when I speak, I really compress it. And then take that, send that into my main out 1, and usually I would use 2 separate bus, but for this live stream, because I do not have a room to deal with, I just do my mastering chain on here. I had some question today about my mastering chain and how I implement compression in a limiter. First, let's start with compression. This is my setup. This is what I use. This is what you are hearing right now. A lot of compression. NTG2 on top of the camera, compress, EQ on the channel strip, send into the main bus. On that main bus, I have a G-bus compressor, really fast attack. We're talking about 0.3 milliseconds. It's really, really fast. I can go even harder if I really want to. The reason behind this compressor, because I think this is what I don't usually explain. The reason behind this compressor is to make sure that every peaks is cut down a little bit. I don't want to compress the full core of the signal. What I want to compress is just the peak, like, and I'm using a slow release on it. So it just even out the signal a little more. So I start with totally compress into the channel strip. So I get, you know, a nice block. After that, I just compress it a little more, and to finish that off, I could EQ it, but I don't. I don't feel the need to compress a little, to EQ a little more, but I'm using a limiter. That limiter here is to finish the job on what that limiter here is to finish the job on what I want to achieve as a maximum loudness level. Can you see how little I'm limiting? 1 to 3 dB. I don't feel like I need to push it a lot. I don't use any input gain. I don't need to, because I'm sending out a really loud compressed microphone into a compressor, and that compressor is going to be sent into that limiter. But that limiter is just there to avoid clipping. Avoiding clipping with that limiter, make sure that I can send out signal to, let me check that signal here. I can send pretty much to 0 dB. Right now I'm hitting -6, but if I really want to go loud, I can make sure that I can send out really, really close to 0 dB without ever crossing the clipping point of 0 dB here. That's the job of that limiter. It's just there to avoid, because everything is done before that. All the compression is done before that. Everything that I do here with that limiter is just avoiding go over the final step, which will sound like distortion. If I'm not hitting the compressor or the limiter every time, it's fine. But I want to make sure that if something goes, let's say I'm gonna push my, I'm gonna change my microphone setup here from being pre to post, and I'm gonna go here. My microphone is almost clipping all the time, but because of the wonderful technology of the 32-bit microphone preamp converter that we have on the wing, you do not hear it. It doesn't sound like distortion. It just sounds more compressed and even more limited. But I'm gonna push this to the point where my bus here is having a hard time. I'm clipping the input of the main bus. Can you guys see that? Here, I'm hitting the red light. I can probably bring that down a little bit, but I'm almost hitting the red light all the time on the main bus. But again, because we are in 32-bit on the wing, you do not hear clipping. It's just compressed. It feels compressed instead of really bad distortion. But the thing is, if I want to go here and I want to put the makeup gain, no, that's a threshold. This is where I want to keep it. I want the makeup gain here. I can push into the limiter, and I'm going to do it really hard. I'm going to go 6 dB inside the limiter. Now I'm compressing that a lot, and my output signal threshold will be minus 0.25 dB, which is at the bare edge of clipping. So this is what I do when it comes to mastering for live streaming. This is pushing it too hard. I'm gonna go back here where it was just fine, and I'm gonna make sure that I do not for no reason clip on most occasion the send to the bus, because at some point it will create unwanted or really bad time of limiting compression, because we're about to create some really nasty sound instead of sounding good. Right now I'm surfing on the edge of the clipping point where it still sounds good, and that's pretty much it. That's pretty much what I do to sound. After that, if you want to talk about camera and stuff like that, I'm no camera expert. I'm just using my Sony FX30, which is the one that I'm using right now, and I send that into a beautiful mixer from Blackmagic, the ATEM Mini Pro, and I'm using the feed out of that to send out to any platform. And I'm mixing everything in software. I do not mix anything in hardware. What about mix minus monitoring phone hybrid? Nope, I'm not doing anything of that monitoring. How do you monitor the level going to the video feed? I just have headphone on. I'm just having headphone on, and make sure. Actually, I do two things. I monitor with headphone, and usually I connect my phone to the stream, and I listen to the stream that way. Mix minus, I never had to use them. I know what they are, and I know the use case for them, but I never had to do this. Usually when I do event like that, I just use my main out or an aux send, because I'm sending out level into a bus, different level for different stuff, because people talking sometimes is not as loud as a video playback. So I will create a bus using the same mastering chain on it, create a bus, adjusting my level for my live stream. So no LUFS meter, absolutely not. I don't care about that. I know roughly where I should be sitting to respect the LUFS metering. I know having modulation around minus 12, minus 6 with a maximum clipping of 0 or minus 0.025 is usually getting me in the LUFS meter for music and speech. And I do not have LUFS meter here on the console. I try to bring as less gear as possible in every situation where I have everything that I need, but I do not bring out anything else. When it comes to, streaming online, I'm not talking about TV here. When it comes to streaming online, streaming on YouTube, if I do not respect, and I know there are some convention about LUFS, respect LUFS metering and respecting LUFS for TV is not the same as for radio, as usually YouTube's gonna have also its number in LUFS, and Apple Music's gonna have its number in LUFS for your podcast. So this is how you hold on. There's a publicity coming here. I'm just gonna wait for that to kick in. There you go. For those of you that do not get a publicity, we got to move on. I know there's some law when it comes to mastering for any platform, but so far I've gone away without taking care, or not really taking care of any of these, because streaming for a private platform, like I'm doing most of the time on Zoomscal, or like I'm doing a lot of time on Facebook, if you're out of that LUFS range, they will put you back in. They have computer analyzing the signal that you send to those platforms, like especially Facebook, if you have any copyrighted music playing, and it will adapt to the LUFS. If you're too loud, it's going to bring you down. If you're not loud enough, it's going to try to bring you up. Usually, the way I work, I end up sometimes being a little too loud, but I'd rather be a little too loud and the platform turning me down a dB or two than having the consumer, on the other hand, during a live stream, getting a signal and having to crank everything, and after that, like what just happened, a publicity kicked in and you're getting blast like for no reason. So yeah, I'd rather go that route, but no, I do not, or I try to have as less gear as possible, so no LUFS meter included in the wing. I do not watch it then. Or my other console that I do a lot of live stream on is the TF1 from Yamaha. And this one is even worse, where I use a analog connection into my A10 Mini using a reversed 1.8 jack to 2 XLR. Send that into a microphone and just go analog all the way. Yeah, basically. This is what I do when I do live stream most of the time. And if you want to talk about video, video is not a subject where I feel confident enough to talk about YouTube. I'm struggling every Monday to get this thing looking fine with the LED lights that I have and the camera that I have. So I don't feel like I can make it work. It's watchable. I think it's watchable. Around 350 people every week watch this show. So I think it's watchable. But I'm not going to call myself a video guy at all. I try to avoid actually video at all cost. So when I have to do it, I have to do it, but it's not my expertise. I'm a live sound engineer that slowly has to go through the step of becoming more broadcast and doing what I do into a loud PA. And my tips and tricks are working for a live PA. I hope that answered your question, Rob. I know you're probably left disappointed here, but this is what I've been doing, and so far it's been working honestly fine. Watching playback, I did a recorded session doing the same approach because a bunch of people that rented a venue that I worked at asked me for recording a session, and they need to get it out to the news, to a TV station and stuff like that right away or within the hour. So I recorded that stuff, pre-mastered everything like I'm usually doing when I used to do out on the field stuff for TVs. Send that out to TV, compressed, EQ'd a little bit, did the same thing, and I had only good comment so far. So I don't know. I'm doing the best I can. I do what I believe it should be done in those scenario, and so far so good. The comments are good. I'm not saying that I have magical here. All I'm gonna say is I know my average of dBVU versus peak is usually lending me in the right or around the right LUFS metering. On that note, guys, if you have any more question, it will be now for you to write them down in the chat below. We're almost approaching the 1 hour time. I started a few minutes late, so even if it's 2:30 for me, I don't mind staying a couple more minutes, but I'm gonna try to get this live stream around roughly an hour. Just to keep it entertaining. And so far we had a good time. We talked about SMMART, or yeah, you guys had my opinion on SMMART and other stuff like that. So if you have any more questions, it's time for me to do so. While you're doing that, I'm gonna remind you guys to make sure that you like this video. If you just joined in, not from the beginning, make sure that you like that. If you are not subscribed yet to the channel, subscribe and make sure that you ring that little bell. Ringing the bell will make sure that you know when we are. Ringing the bell will make sure that you will know when we are live. Like Odie, that's just kind of here to say hi. Odie, what's up, man? Good to have you back around as usual. Thank you very much. And those of you who want to support me in what I do and have a little spare change in this economy, make sure that you subscribe as a member of the channel. You guys are just throwing me a couple pennies a month, but it's making a difference. It's making me want to invest more time and more stuff into this channel. And it's slowly with the beginning of the new year happening, I will have my things slow down and I will start to do more and more video like I usually do. So on that note, you guys been reminded of everything that I need you to remind of, except one thing, that I will be here next Monday at 1:30 Eastern Time. If you want to know what time that refers to you, make sure that you check out what time is it in New York. I'm in the same time zone as New York, 1:30 p.m. every Monday. I'm here to do a live stream like I'm always doing. On that note, I'm going to say thank you very much, everybody, for watching. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Until the next one, go do like I do. Go take care of yourself. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna go take care of myself for a little bit before I'm doing my clients down in Australia, a mate in Australia, live private live session. Sorry guys, always hard for me to wrap these up. So I'm gonna go with thank you very much for watching. Until the next one, I want you guys to please take care of yourself, and I will see you next Monday.